He comes from a fighting family and he won gold in kickboxing at just 16. He also holds several titles as a pro boxer. If you haven't heard of him, his name is Darren Godfrey Jr. And I've got the story next. Susan Cingari here from Love MMA, where every fighter has a story. And each week on this YouTube channel, we bring you a unique combat sports story. So what are you waiting for? Please hit the subscribe button. And joining me tonight is Darren Godfrey Jr. How are you tonight, Darren?
I'm good, Susan. How are you, darling?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. You know, the fight world is so messed up. You were supposed to fight at BKB 21. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's not actually the first time it's been postponed. This is the second time that the show's been put back due to COVID. So, yeah, basically I've done 2 training camps on the banks and no fight. So it's been a bit of a nightmare, really.
You also had an opponent change, correct?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, my first opponent was meant to have been Darren Hendry. And due to personal reasons, he's not been able to fight. So, yeah, I've had a fighter change. It's Ash Gibson now, which is, there's no skin off my nose. Fight's a fight, so I'm not really bothered about it.
How are you dealing with this mentally? Because I've interviewed many fighters, and COVID is affecting a lot of the fighters, and so much of the sport is the mental game. So how are you dealing with these mentally the postponements?
Well, to be honest with you, I think the hardest bit about it is not being able to get in the gyms when you need to get into them. But yeah, I've managed quite well, really. I've basically put my back garden into a gym, and I've been meeting up with other fighters. We've been sparring in fields, and you just get around it, don't you?
How do you think you match up with Gibson style-wise?
To be honest with you, I think we're quite similar. To be honest, I think even though I can be a bit of a technical fighter, I mean, I do like to get stuck in and have the wards, you know what I mean? So I think that's the sort of way the fight's going to go. I think we're just going to meet in the middle and see which man survives, you know what I mean? So yeah, which is what I'm open for, to be honest.
What's a typical training day like for you now?
At the moment, where the fight's been postponed, I'm back to doing about 4 or 5 times a week, but obviously in training camp I'll training twice a day, getting up in the morning, early morning run, and then I got a great team around me, which I meet every single night. I got some good sparring. I'm traveling the country, getting some good sparring in with other BKB fighters, pro boxers. So yeah, it's much.
BKFC just recently came to the U.S., so we're grateful that they have, because now we have a whole new fight audience, and I love bare knuckle. But you folks over across the pond have been doing it for a long time. So what are the rules for BKB?
Well, it's basically the same as boxing, but yeah, you don't get so many rounds in BKB, and I think the only major change really is you get a bit of a longer count. So I think it's a 20 count instead of a 10 count like you get in boxing. So, and obviously you're not wearing gloves, so you're getting hurt a little bit more.
So Darren, you have had 2 bare knuckle fights. Can you kind of give us a little rewind and recap some of those fights for us?
Yes, well, I've done two different sorts of fighting, to be honest. I've done bare knuckle in the ring, which is obviously just like a boxing match without any gloves on. But I've also done a pit fight, which is basically you're fighting in a 6x6 feet hay bales. And yeah, it's more of a brutal scrap rather than a bare knuckle boxing match. And I stepped in on a fight for the British title on my first pit fight, and I ended up walking away with it.
You know, in both of the fights that we just looked at, you seem to favor body shots. So is that your strong suit? Yeah,
it is. I think most of my boxing career is where I was a bit of a body snatcher. Well, I mean, most fighters know if they're fighting me, they don't want to let me get in too close, because if I'm hitting you in the body, then I'm usually breaking your ribs.
Right. I think how many ribs have you broken?
Oh, quite a few.
How did you get into bare knuckle then?
To be honest with you, I was chasing it for a while. The whole time that I was boxing, I was always intrigued and always, and I was always, do you know what I mean? I was looking for that next step. So I was chasing it for a while. It was me that approached BKB, and I was asking them for a while, and I was sending them footage, and well, obviously you get yourself out there a little bit more, and people start noticing you, don't they? And yeah, I'm happy with signing. I'm happy that I signed with them. Definitely, it's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time.
What separates you from the rest of the pack, do you think?
Well, my old boxing name used to be Jack in the Night, and the reason being is because they used to say I was a nice man, and then as soon as I got in the ring, I was a savage. So it's, I think my art carries me through most fights, because there's been a lot of fights where I've got myself in some sticky situations, and I think I've got out of it by just pure heart. Do you know what I mean? My heart just do not let me stop. So I think, yeah, just pure heart and determination. I think it's just dragged me through some proper big fights. You know what I mean? And it always gets me through.
Before we go today, Darren, is there anything you want to add? And please give us your social media handles. And if you want to shout out to your sponsors, now's the time to do it.
My social media is Instagram, Darren Godfrey Jr. Give it a follow.
Thanks to Darren for taking the time to interview with Must Love MMA and Bare Knuckle News. And you don't want to miss part 2 of my interview with Darren Godfrey Jr., where we get a bit personal. Help a girl out. Smash that subscribe button, share this video, comment. I'm Susan Cingari. And remember, no one beats us to the punch.